Transform your hot yoga floor poses part 2. We are in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and this is right in the middle of a teach-train program, a 200-hour Barkan Method teach-train program. And this is a little sneak peek behind the scenes of what happens in the Barkan Method live teach-train programs. So part 2, we're going to go over the Cobra series. Cobra, Locust, Full Locust, Bow. So let's head over to the studio with soon-to-be Barkan graduate Haley and demonstrate these 4 poses. The Cobra series. Definitely not, this Cobra, Locust, Full Locust, Bow. Definitely not a series that's synonymous with Bikram Yoga. Cobra, Locust, Bow is shared by many different lineages. Definitely an ancient pose that goes way past Vishnu Ghosh in our lineage in Bengal. It's practiced by Shivananda lineage. David Collier wrote a famous anatomy book, and he has it in that particular book, so you can see it other places. But so what Bikram did, he copy and pasted it into his sequence. So after you do Pavanamuktasana, you would do the Cobra pose. In the Barkan Method, we do it in day 1 and in day 4. So we're gonna, with the help of Haley, are you smiling for the camera? Or are you looking like you're dying? This is actually now reverse Shavasana. So magically, Haley's hair is now in order. We're going to place the hands under the shoulders. So the little fingers are on the outside edge of the shoulders and the tips of the fingers are on the front part edge of the shoulders. What you're going to see a lot of your students do, they're going to have their hands out this way more. Bring your hands out like that. Or their hands are too far forward. So I'll say bring your hands back. And then the cue is lift your chest and bring the hands underneath the chest. So underneath. The fingers are together in our triangle, in our Cobra pose. Other styles of yoga, they have their fingers spread apart. I like keeping the fingers together because it really should be 80% of your leg strength and 20% arms. You're not doing a push-up, because a lot of people, especially guys, they'll do this position, they'll come up and they'll straighten their arms. Do that, just come straight up and straighten your arms, and the shoulders come up to their ears. Yeah, that's gonna be one of the first things you're gonna see people do, so come back down again. So let's talk about the legs. Your feet are together, toes and heels touching. The inner thighs are going to rotate in toward each other in an inner spiral this way, in. And the leg muscles are tight and solid. You're going to hold on to those leg muscles tight. Take a deep breath in. And as you come up, a little bit of exhale, come all the way up to the belly button. A little higher, right there. The key is the elbows to the waist, which drops the shoulders down. As the elbows drop and the shoulders drop, now you can lift from your chest. You're going to push down into the floor with the tops of the feet and push down into the floor with your hips so that you stay nice and straight. In the Bikram world, they have you bring your head all the way back. Can you do that? Look all the way back. And finish the back bend through the neck vertebra. To me, I think it can be a little bit intrusive on the neck, so I don't mind if the head's a little more forward so the back and neck vertebrae are in line. I'm not saying it's wrong, but for some people it could definitely torque the neck. And then she comes down nice and slow. Head to the side, arms by your side, reverse Shavasana. Now a lot of teachers will teach this pose, they'll tell them to lift the hands off the ground. The problem with lifting the hands off the ground, and we do it, but we do it at the advanced level. If you're not high enough, then nothing's going to happen. So go do the position for a second. Come up just a little bit, and now lift your hands off the ground. All you're really doing now is you're not really involving the lower back anymore. You're just almost torquing the shoulders out. So you're better off coming all the way up to the belly button. And now, if you can stay here, not let your feet fly off the ground, and now lift your hands off the ground, but see, now she can't do it. So she's not quite at that level yet. That would be an advanced move. So just to bring your hands up, you're just going to torque your neck and you torque your shoulders. You're not working the lower back. It's the leg muscles that have to be strong and tight. So let's do that for a second. Bring your hands under the shoulders. I'm just going to bring your heels together. I'm just going to step here. Now come up to the belly button. And now lift your hands up and watch how easy she can do it. Because I just supported her position by holding her legs down, and now she can do it. But that's what you have to be able to do yourself in order to get the hands up at the advanced level. Okay, come on down. Head to the side. So we lift the upper back off the floor to work the lower back. And in the pose, come up again just for a couple seconds. Now she's doing the Cobra. She's actually cutting the circulation off the lower back. There's no circulation going there. Now when she comes down in Shavasana, the blood and oxygen flow through. That's why Shavasana, in this case reverse Shavasana, completes the process of contraction, relaxation. Blood and oxygen, prana shakti flowing to the lower back. Locust pose is the next one. You're going to bring your arms all the way underneath. This is sort of a controversial subject. What if you can't get your arms underneath in between the hip points? Some people can't. Or they can do it, but they can't get their legs up. So here's the compromise that I say. Let's say you cannot get your legs off the ground because your arms are all the way underneath. First of all, it's almost like you're trying to touch your elbows underneath you. Little fingers should be touching. You're grabbing the floor with the fingertips, like suction cups. Interestingly enough, the more you can get your arms between the hip points, the easier it is on the elbows. But let's say, for example, that Haley can't get her leg off the ground. Then let's say you can get it off the ground for 1 inch, just to bring your leg up, and you can hold it for 1 second, and now that's it, come back down. I'd rather you do that. Just keep the arms underneath the body. Maybe if you can only go for 1 inch and for 1 second today, that's your goal. That's where you are. What's your goal? 2 inches, 2 seconds. That's it. So at least you're working it, working it, working it. Maybe if we do 2 sets, then you can bring your arms out to the side. Do that. Bring your arms out completely. Palms down though. And now bring your right leg up to 45 degrees. Left leg up. And then both legs up. But that would be the compromise. Because now you are strengthening the hamstrings by pointing the toes. You're getting the back of the legs strong. But at least don't deprive yourself of getting to working the arms underneath. I work with a lot of professional tennis players over the years. They came in just for this pose. Chris Everett, who was too young to remember her, she was a famous tennis player. And she married this guy named John Lloyd. And so he came in and brought his entire intramural tennis team with him to do this pose. Peter Fleming was another famous tennis player. They came in because this pose was great for tennis elbow, because they had so much calcium buildup from playing tennis for so long. So it's a great pose to break the calcium in the body. Get them underneath. But let's say you don't need to modify, so the arms come underneath. Grab the floor with the fingertips, little finger touching underneath you. The right leg comes up to 45-degree angle, but the hip bone makes contact with the forearm. That's the key. Can you get your leg higher than that? In fact, if your hip bone makes contact with the forearm, get your leg up as high as you possibly can. You can even go past 45 degrees. And then change to the other side so you're even. And I said it before, by pointing the toe, we're strengthening the hamstring. We've been stretching it most of the class. Now we're strengthening it. And what are we stretching? The quad, which is the opposite side. So when you're stretching the hamstring, you're tightening the quad. Now, when we do both legs, I'm sorry that you're on the floor because it's disgusting. A towel has magically appeared for Kaylee, so she doesn't have to kiss the floor. So her mouth is on the floor. So this is important to cue. When you're teaching this pose, you got to cue mouth on the floor. Changes the neck position. Deep breath in, and your legs come up. It's okay to separate them a little bit and bring them up. Now bring the feet together. Now I want you to bend your knees and go higher. You're going to see this a lot. What I'll tell people is to drop the legs down just a little bit and straighten the legs. That helps because you must have straight legs. So it's okay to give up some height, but keep the legs straight and then lower back down. Slowly with control. Relax your arms, head to the side. Reverse Shavasana. Circulation from the contraction of the upper back into Shavasana at the end. So think about Cobra and Locust as a seesaw. Cobra, the upper back's off the ground, all the work's in the lower back. Locust, the upper back's off the ground, all the work's in the upper back. Full Locust. Arms out to the side like an airplane, palms on the floor. Exhale, let all the breath go completely, all the breath out of the body. Inhale through the back of the throat and slowly come up. The key here, a couple things. You want the fingertips to line up with the top of the head, fingers together. Legs up too. Not so much legs. Also like a seesaw, if you bring your legs way up, it's going to push your upper body down. So if her legs go down a little bit, her upper body is going to be able to lift from the lat muscles and then lower down slowly with control. I talked about this morning. When you're doing a lat pull down in the gym, you're not pulling it down with your shoulders, you're pulling it down with the lat muscles. So it's the same thing here. We're lifting from the lat muscles and the shoulders come along for the ride. Now ideally, to the advanced position, I'll show you a picture of it later, when you can get up to the hip points with your upper body, then you can bring your legs up. So the ideal position will be your head and your feet are in the same line from the side angle. I'll post a picture, you can see what that looks like. But for most people, if they bring their legs up high, it pushes their body down. So that's why I say only a little bit off the ground, get chest up, chest up, chest up, and then at the end you can start bringing your legs when you can get to the hip points. Most people can't, so I don't even cue it. I have a student that comes every day. He's on my membership, Alex. He's got a real good full locust, so I'll cue him to bring his legs up, but he's one of the few. And that's middle back, lat muscles. Lower back in Cobra, upper back in locust, middle back in full locust, entire back in the bow. Bend your knees up, hold the feet from the outside. Two knees together from the start. Now, the grip's a little different than standing bow, where if you're advanced, you would go down lower, but the advanced, you still want to hold at the top of the foot. And you want to keep your wrists straight. See how you're protruding your wrist? This wrist is protruded. We want this to flatten, like so. Bending from here. Rochelle's going to do a close-up to here. See that? That's going to give her another 2 inches, 5 centimeters without even getting more flexible. Knees together from the start because the knees are going to want to flare out, spray out. So take a deep breath in and up she goes. So if her knees do come out, they'll come out to where they need to be. Now automatically, Haley just went too high because that's what she does in her practice. So we want to stay right at the lower abdomen, head back. Now like the Cobra, like you do in Bikram's Cobra, you can bring your head all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. And now kick up. Wrists are straight, the whole back bends, and lower down slowly with control.
What do you mean about the wrists? I couldn't see what you're... Oh, okay, instead of this. Okay. Doing.
So from the forearm to your knuckle would be a straight line. Point your toes though. Yeah. From your forearm to your knuckles would be a straight line. You're still bending it, your wrist. Don't let it bend. Yeah. From here to here, here to here. So what if you can't, sometimes your students can't grab both feet. What's the modification? Well, there's a couple things you can do. Grab your left foot first. Sometimes you could help them grab the right foot. So bring the foot up. You can just very gently help them grab that other foot. That's one thing you can do. A lot of times, especially for guys that are really tight hip flexors, you might need to do that. Another thing, if they can't even get that, would be let go of this foot and bring your left arm out in the air like in front of you. And now just kick the right leg back. Come up, And then on the other side, just change arms. We do 2 sets. There it is. That's the modification. Cobra, lower back. Locust, upper back. Full locust, middle back. Bow, the entire back. Welcome back to the ocean. That's the Cobra series, a back strengthening series. So here's what's going to be coming up May 9th to the 16th. It's our 26th annual Costa Rica, not just a retreat, it's also a teacher training program. So you can come sit on a hammock the whole time, sit in the jacuzzi, or you can join us in the teacher training program. It's a level 2/3. June and July, I'm going to be in Coconut Creek, Florida for the next level 1 200-hour Barkan Method Teach Train program at Evolution Yoga. In August, I'm going to be at Infinity Yoga in Tennessee, a Barkan Method level 2 training. November and December, back to Marlton, New Jersey for another level 1 200-hour teach train program. And this was just added. This is November 13th, 14th, and 15th. I'm going to be at Yoga Flex in Comac, right in the middle of Long Island for a Barkan Method 3-day workshop. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Any questions or comments, put them down below. I'm happy to get back to you, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye, everyone.